This is PokePress coverage of the 2010 Pokemon Trading Card and Video Game World Championships in Kona, Hawaii. Alright, so here we go with Game 3 of the Juniors Final. Top player sends out Cresselia and Giratina. Bottom player sends out Ho-Oh and Ludicolo. So in our first turn, Ho-Oh protects itself. And Ludicolo seeds Giratina. Giratina vanishes instantly. Looks like Cresselia tried to attack Ho-Oh. Ho-Oh comes back now. And Groudon comes out. Now Ludicolo seeds Cresselia. And now that Shadow Force comes out, hits Ludicolo. And it does quite a bit of damage there. Now Cresselia is using Thunder Wave on Ludicolo to paralyze it. But it has a berry that will heal that, the Lum Berry. Generally speaking, most teams only use the Lum Berry. The only other one they might use, as Leech Seed takes effect now, is the Chesto Berry, which they might put on a Pokemon that knows Rest so it wakes up right away. Ludicolo comes back. And Ho-Oh comes out again. Top player takes back Cresselia. And sends out Ludicolo. Giratina vanishes again. And now we get an Earthquake from Groudon. Of course it misses Ho-Oh because it's flying. It looks like there's a critical hit there for that. Otherwise, Ludicolo wouldn't have taken nearly as much damage. Ludicolo has the usual leftovers we've seen before. So Ho-Oh goes and makes a substitute. And Shadow Force hits that substitute. And breaks it. However, the quarter of health that was lost is probably less than it would have taken. Now Ludicolo seeds Ho-Oh with the Leech Seed. And now we get an Earthquake from Groudon. Giratina just barely holds on there. And now we have a somewhat unusual scenario that's about to unfold, if you remember. First, Ho-Oh has its leftovers, which heals it a little bit. And then Ludicolo collects on the seed it planted on Ho-Oh. And then Ho-Oh collects an Elite Seed that was planted on Giratina. And Giratina is actually knocked out by that. So lateral move for Ho-Oh, and Giratina gets knocked out. More or less. And top player sends out Kyogre. And now Ludicolo comes back and is replaced by Cresselia. Groudon comes back on the bottom and is replaced by Ludicolo. Ho protects itself. And now we get a Water Spout. Now, of course, it won't do any damage to Ho because it protected itself. And Ludicolo is 1/4 damage from water attacks being grass and water. Now Cresselia picks up on that Leech Seed. And now we get a Grass Knot from Ludicolo to Kyogre. Does about 2/3 damage. And now we get another Water Spout. Again, not much damage to Ludicolo, but Ho is weak to water. It takes a very good amount of damage, but it does manage to stay in the game. Now Ho uses Brave Bird to attack Kyogre. And that knocks out Kyogre. Ho does take a little bit of recoil damage. Now recoil damage is actually based on how much damage was actually done. So even though it knocked Kyogre out, any damage done above that isn't put as recoil damage. And you notice Cresselia there paralyzed Ludicolo with a Thunder Wave. So Ho does manage to survive though with leftovers despite being Leech Seeded. And the top player sends out their Ludicolo. Ho comes back. And Groudon comes out. And Ludicolo comes back as well for the bottom player. And it's replaced by Cherrim. And of course it's sunny out, so it transforms. And now we get a Fake Out to Groudon. And now we get a Grass Knot onto Ludicolo. And now we get a Swagger from Cresselia to Cherrim. And now we get a Grass Knot from Ludicolo to Groudon. And a Rock Slide from Groudon. Does enough damage to knock Ludicolo out. So now our top player is down to their last Pokemon, while our bottom player still has all 4. Cherrim's confused, and it does damage to itself. And we get a Psychic from Cresselia to Groudon. Now Groudon uses Fling to throw that Iron Ball to Cresselia, 130 base damage. You only get to use it once though, but looks like Once is enough. And that ends the game. Bottom player wins. This has been a PokePress Special Report.